Boston streets weren't planned. They were scribbled by a toddler with a crayon. This colonial relic rejected the grid system for cow paths paved over in concrete. The Big Dig spent $22 billion to bury highways, creating the world's most expensive underground maze where GPS signals go to die. Streets change names mid-block because consistency would be too convenient. Storo Drive's famous car-decapitating overpasses eat rental trucks monthly. The city has more one-way streets than two-way conversations, and they randomly switch directions based on the lunar cycle. Rotaries aren't roundabouts, they're gladiatorial arenas where turn signals are considered signs of weakness. Friends, this is the first video on my channel. If you enjoy the video, please subscribe and support my hard work. Parking means abandoning your car wherever it fits, creating the city's signature double parking culture. Boston drivers don't use their blinkers because surprise is the only joy left in their commuting lives. They built a city for horses, then forced cars through it. That's not urban navigation, that's vehicular hazing. Rome wasn't built in a day, but they've spent 2,000 years making it impossible to drive through. The historic center is a labyrinth of medieval streets designed to confuse invading armies, and it works perfectly on tourists with rental cars. ZTL restricted zones appear without warning, automatically photographing your license plate and mailing tickets to your home country 6 months later. Surprise! The Colosseum roundabout fits 8 lanes of traffic without a single lane marking. It's not traffic, it's interpretive dance with 2-ton vehicles. Parking means mounting the curb at a 45-degree angle, blocking half the sidewalk, because that's just Roman culture. Traffic lights are merely suggestions that locals interpret based on their morning espresso intake. GPS systems recalculate more often than they provide directions. Your navigation app shows you're driving through ancient ruins because you probably are. The 7 hills mean you're either burning out your clutch or riding your brakes downhill into oncoming scooters. When locals say all roads lead to Rome, they forget to mention none lead out successfully. Mumbai isn't a driving city. It's a lesson in patience delivered through horn honks. The average speed during rush hour is 8 kilometers per hour, slower than walking but with more exhaust fumes. Lane markings exist purely for decorative purposes as 6 vehicles squeeze into spaces designed for 2. The city's 20 million residents compete for road space with rickshaws, motorcycles, cows, street vendors, and the occasional elephant. Your GPS might show a 5-minute journey that takes 2 hours in reality. Potholes aren't road defects, they're landmarks with their own postal codes. The Western Express Highway expresses nothing except frustration as it transforms into the world's longest parking lot during monsoon flooding. Traffic rules are theoretical concepts studied by academics but never observed in the wild. Your car horn replaces turn signals, brakes, and polite conversation. Driving distances aren't measured in kilometers, but in life stages. You begin a 30-kilometer commute single and arrive with grandchildren. The city's transport planners believe jam equals traffic flow. That's not commuting, that's a daily endurance sport. Cairo's traffic isn't chaos. It's an advanced form of communication too complex for outsiders to understand. The city's 20 million residents navigate using a system where lane markings are imaginary and traffic lights are optional theater. Cars maintain a distance of exactly 2 millimeters while traveling at 60 kilometers per hour, defying physics and several natural laws. Tahrir Square isn't a roundabout, it's a blender for vehicles entering from 12 directions simultaneously. Cairenes don't use turn signals, they use telepathy. Crossing the Nile means choosing between 15 bridges, all experiencing the same apocalyptic congestion. The city's famous ring road was designed to bypass downtown, but now hosts its own 5-hour traffic jams. Parking attendants materialize from thin air to charge you for leaving your car on public streets. Microbuses stop anywhere, anytime, creating surprise obstacle courses.
Road shoulders double as high-speed passing lanes. Drivers routinely go the wrong way down one-way streets because waiting in traffic is for amateurs. The most efficient transport remains the donkey cart, unchanged for 5,000 years. Cairo isn't about getting from point A to B, it's about surviving the journey with your side mirrors intact.
Hanoi's streets aren't roads, they're rivers of motorbikes with occasional islands of cars. The city's 5 million motorbikes flow like water, finding gaps that don't exist and ignoring traffic signals with spiritual dedication. Crossing the street means walking slowly into oncoming traffic, maintaining eye contact, and accepting your mortality. The Old Quarter features 36 streets named after what was historically sold there, creating a navigation system that assumes you're shopping for bamboo or silver rather than trying to reach your hotel. GPS is useless when your one-way street suddenly reverses direction midday. Driving here isn't about rules, it's about negotiation through a complex honking language. Cars are luxury items taxed at 200%, which explains why your taxi is worth more than most apartments. The city's famous tube houses are buildings 2 meters wide and 70 meters deep, creating streets too narrow for anything larger than a moped. Parking means leaving your motorbike with one of hundreds of unofficial attendants who may or may not return it for the right price. Rush hour lasts from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., with a brief pause for lunch. You haven't experienced true terror until you've been in a roundabout with no lanes, no rules, and 1,000 scooters carrying families of 5 plus livestock.
Naples invented traffic anarchy before anarchy was cool. This is a city where red lights are treated as festive decorations with no regulatory purpose. The historic center features streets so narrow that side mirrors are considered optional equipment. Parking means abandoning your car at any angle, anywhere. Sidewalks, intersections, archaeological sites, it's all fair game. Neapolitan drivers communicate exclusively through hand gestures, complex enough to require doctoral studies to interpret. Scooters create their own dimension of physics, occupying spaces between atoms while carrying entire families. GPS systems have been known to simply display good luck when entering certain neighborhoods. The famous Spaccanapoli Street splits the city in half but is too narrow for modern vehicles, which doesn't stop anyone from trying. Traffic circles function on the principle that whoever honks loudest gains right of way. The coastal road offers stunning views of the Mediterranean that you'll never see because you're too busy avoiding head-on collisions. Streets built for Roman chariots now host delivery trucks that get stuck for days, becoming temporary landmarks. Driving in Naples isn't transportation, it's performance art with mortality stakes.
Paris. Paris created the world's most beautiful city, then made it impossible to navigate by vehicle. The Arc de Triomphe roundabout features 12 unmarked entrance points where cars merge based on confidence rather than right-of-way. It's the only traffic circle visible from space due to its perfect concentric rings of insurance claims. The city center streets follow medieval paths designed to confuse English invaders, working equally well on modern tourists with rental cars. Navigation apps routinely give up, suggesting you abandon your vehicle and proceed on foot. Parisians park with the precision of a surgeon and the ethics of a pirate, leaving centimeters between bumpers and treating minor collisions as parking assistance. The peripheric ring road moves at 2 speeds, completely stopped or dangerously fast, with no middle option. Bus lanes, bike lanes, and taxi lanes leave regular drivers with what appears to be a narrow sidewalk to navigate. Street signs are artistically mounted at invisible angles on random buildings. The city's war on cars includes removing 70,000 parking spaces while charging €6 per hour for the remaining spots. Delivery vehicles simply stop in the middle of the street, creating impromptu obstacle courses. That's not traffic management, that's vehicular natural selection with a French accent.
Istanbul. Istanbul built a city on 2 continents, then connected them with traffic jams that transcend geography. The only metropolis where your GPS needs a passport to navigate from breakfast to dinner. The Bosphorus bridges turn rush hour into a cross-continental parking lot where you can age measurably while watching Asia from Europe. The historic peninsula features streets designed for Byzantine processions, not Hyundai sedans. Taksim Square isn't a traffic circle, it's a black hole where vehicles enter but never exit, trapped in an eternal dance of honking and gesturing. The city's 7 hills ensure you're either burning out your transmission climbing 45-degree inclines or testing your brakes on descents into oncoming Dolmuş minibuses. Ottoman-era streets randomly narrow from 4 lanes to 1 without warning, creating bottlenecks that have lasted longer than some empires. Parking enforcement operates on a complex schedule, non-existent Monday through Saturday, ruthlessly efficient on Sunday when you're at brunch. Street signs use 3 different alphabets depending on the neighborhood's historic identity. Ferry captains navigate the world's busiest strait with more precision than drivers manage simple left turns. Traffic apps need archaeological expertise to distinguish modern roads from ancient Roman pathways. That's not a transportation system, that's geographical Stockholm syndrome with a view of the Golden Horn.